There are a few things that are essential to making a really good granola. You need the granola to be both chewy and crispy, crunchy, sweet, and salty. And you also want it to have a unique flavor. And so something like a maple granola or a cinnamony granola or a honey-based granola is really nice. But one of my favorite flavors is pumpkin spice, which is a spice blend of cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and nutmeg. And so I designed a granola that makes the most of all of those flavors with a few other fun additions that make it great for breakfast or just for snacking. To make this granola, all you have to do is combine all of the dry ingredients in one bowl, the wet ingredients in another bowl, mix to combine those two together, and then bake it. It's really that simple. In this bowl, I have 4 cups of rolled oats. It's really important that you want to use rolled or old-fashioned oats, not steel cut, and certainly not instant oats. And to this, I'm going to add 3 cups of crisped rice or Rice Krispies. This is one of the secret ingredients to the granola because you don't really notice it as you're eating the granola. You don't see it. However, these puffed rice pieces soak up some of the olive oil and honey and pumpkin that we're gonna add, and they become crisp and chewy at the same time. It's kind of a miracle in the granola. So we've got 3 cups of puffed rice, 4 cups of rolled oats, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, just for a little added sweetness, 1 cup of shredded unsweetened coconut. This doesn't lend a ton of coconut flavor, but what it does do is it makes really crisp, delicious bites within the granola, and it also adds really healthy and good fats to this granola, making it something that you can feel good about giving your family for breakfast. Additionally, you're gonna add 1 cup of pumpkin seeds, which are packed with good nutrients. So I'm gonna stir these together. Now I'm going to add the seasonings. So the first thing you're gonna add is 2 full teaspoons of kosher salt. Might sound like a lot, but with the honey and the brown sugar, you kind of need it to balance it to make that salty sweet granola. Another secret ingredient, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. And you might be thinking, this isn't something that bakes and rises, so why are we adding a leavening agent? Baking soda has its own flavor. It's almost like a salty flavor, but it feels different in the mouth. And so it makes this granola kind of irresistible. You want to keep eating more of it. It leaves you salivating in a way that salt doesn't. And then we're gonna add the spice mixture, which is 1.5 tablespoons of pumpkin pie spice. You can find pumpkin pie spice in really any grocery store. And as I mentioned earlier, it's really just a blend of 4 traditional fall spices, but I find it's a lot easier to just buy the spice blend and use it. So stir to incorporate the salt, the baking soda, and the pumpkin pie spice. And already, this dry mixture, you'll notice, is incredibly fragrant. It smells like fall. Now that we have our dry ingredients incorporated, we're gonna incorporate our wet ingredients. We just have 5 wet ingredients that we're gonna mix together. The first is 1/2 cup of honey. And to this, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. It's important to add oil to a granola because it coats the pieces in fat that enables it to cook evenly. It also gives it richness and flavor. And you might think that olive oil sounds a bit strange. I promise it won't taste like olive oil once it bakes with everything else. It'll just give it a slight, subtle, deep, savory flavor, which in a granola like this is necessary. And so whisk together the honey and the oil, and then we're going to add 1/2 cup of pureed pumpkin. This is a unique thing in this recipe. This is being added because the pumpkin will make the granola extra chewy. It will coat the oats and the rice, and they will soak in some of the pumpkin while also taking in some of that flavor. And as it bakes, it'll dry out and make this chewy, crispy situation that's really good. All right, the next wet ingredient is 1/2 cup of almond butter. This, again, adds a savory quality. Also, it adds richness, it adds nutrients. If you don't really like almond butter, feel free to use cashew butter or even sunflower seed butter. Any of those would work. I wouldn't recommend using peanut butter because the flavor is a little too strong in peanut butter. All right, and our last wet ingredient, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. So I'm just gonna whisk until this is homogeneous, and then I'm gonna add it to my dry ingredients and stir it until it's really well coated. You know you're finished mixing when it looks like all of the oats and seeds and rice are evenly coated in the liquid mixture. And if you want, you can take a bite just to see what it's gonna taste like. It's really tasty. I have my oven preheated to 325 degrees. And I'm going to pour this onto a lined baking sheet. Ideally, you'll line it with parchment paper. I ran out of parchment paper, so I'm using aluminum foil today. It just makes cleanup a lot easier at the end. So this is gonna go into a 325 degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's pretty crispy and browned. You want to stir the granola every 10 minutes as it bakes, just to make sure that it's all browning evenly. You'll notice the granola on the top and the granola that comes in contact with the baking sheet on the bottom will brown faster than the granola in the middle. And so it's important to stir it so that it all gets the chance to crisp up on the outside while still being really chewy and delicious on the inside. So spread it out in an even layer and pop it in the oven. I allowed my granola to cool completely before storing it. And if you don't anticipate eating all of this in a week, you can pop some of it in a freezer bag and put it in the freezer for up to a month. I have some yogurt right here, and I'm going to eat my granola with yogurt. It's one of my favorite breakfasts. The granola is crisp and chewy and crunchy all at the same time. The little coconut pieces provide little snaps of crispness, while the clusters of oats and honey and almond butter make for more crunchier and chewier pieces. The pumpkin seeds have a heartiness to them, and altogether it has the unmistakable flavor of pumpkin spice. You taste all of those incredible aromatics that make up pumpkin spice, and you also get the subtle, rich pumpkin flavor from the pumpkin that we mixed into the liquid ingredients. Altogether, this comes into just a remarkable breakfast item or snacking item that you can enjoy any time of the day and any time of the year. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today, subscribe to the Southern Living YouTube channel, where you're sure to find other videos just like this one that we know you'll love. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.